One day, my dad's younger sister, Aunt Ricky, came to visit us. Young, cheerful, and very beautiful, she was always joking and humming some melodies. One day we went for a walk in the park. There was an old piano there, which I usually walked past, but not this time. Aunt Ricky suddenly sat down at the piano, opened the lid, and started playing a cheerful tune. I was so surprised and delighted that my mouth fell open. Her hands seemed to float over the keyboard, creating a mesmerizing ballet of movements and a harmonious combination of strength and delicacy. My heart started beating faster when I heard the first notes. A warmth spread inside me, like a sunbeam reaching into my heart. I forgot I was in the park and it seemed like the whole world was made of this melody. "Why are you just standing there?" Aunt Ricky said. "Dance." I wanted to dance but was too shy. Adults and children who had come to the park began to stop and some started dancing. Aunt Ricky turned it into a real celebration. Soon a large crowd gathered around us, and she continued playing one tune after another. Sometimes Aunt Ricky sang, and everyone sang along with her. Then she played a polka or a waltz, and everyone danced. I joined them too. My embarrassment gradually turned into joy. My legs started moving to the music by themselves. Everyone around me was laughing and smiling, and I couldn't help but smile too. It was the happiest moment of my life. A man gave Aunt Ricky a rose, and me, an ice cream. I ate the ice cream and admired Aunt Ricky. It was a wonderful day. We came home in high spirits. Mom had already set the table, and we sat down for dinner. The adults were talking about their things, and I was thinking only about the music. The music was still playing in my head, and it felt like I was still in the park. I felt a lightness and joy that was hard to express in words. I could hardly focus on dinner because thoughts about how I would play the piano filled my mind. "Why are you so thoughtful today?" Mom asked me. "I've decided what I want to be when I grow up," I said very seriously. Everyone fell silent and looked at me. "Great," said Mom. "If it's not a secret, tell us what you'll be when you grow up." "I'll be Aunt Ricky," I announced, and for some reason, everyone started laughing. I felt embarrassed and shy and felt a chill inside. I expected to see support and admiration, but the adults' laughter made me feel small and insignificant. Tears welled up in my eyes, and I wanted to run away so no one would see my feelings. Aunt Ricky noticed my distress and said, "Do you mean you want to be a musician and singer? Did I understand you correctly?" I nodded. "That's a very good idea. But it requires a lot of learning. If you're ready for that, you will definitely be like me, and even better. I promise you. Are you ready?" I nodded again. "Well, great. Tomorrow we'll start learning to play the piano," Aunt Ricky announced. I was so excited by her statement that I couldn't sleep all night from the excitement and anticipation. When I finally fell asleep, I had different dreams. Sometimes I was playing in the park, sometimes on stage, and then I was showered with roses and brought ice cream. Finally, morning came. I woke up at the crack of dawn, feeling a surge of energy. I quickly washed up, got dressed, and went to Aunt Ricky's room, eagerly awaiting the start of the lesson. My emotions were a mix of excitement and a slight fear of the unknown. I knocked on the door and called her softly. She came out sleepy and in her nightgown. "Oh, you're already ready to start?" she asked, yawning. "Yes," I replied. "Great. Let's have breakfast and then we'll go," she suggested. "Where?" I asked, surprised. "You'll see," Aunt Ricky smiled slyly and went to the bathroom to wash up. Mom set breakfast on the table, but I couldn't eat. I was too excited about becoming a pianist to swallow anything. No, dear. That won't do. How will you learn on an empty stomach? Come on, eat. Aunt Ricky ordered. I quickly grabbed my fork. The pancakes Mom made were as delicious as ever. I even forgot for a moment that I was going to learn to play the piano, they were so tasty. With raspberries. My mom makes the best pancakes. So, Aunt Ricky and I walked through the city, and my heart was almost jumping out of my chest with anticipation. We stopped at a toy store and went inside. I was surprised but said nothing. Walking through the aisles, Aunt Ricky suddenly stopped and took a large box off the shelf, and we went to the checkout. She paid for the toy, and we headed home. I didn't understand anything. When are we going to start learning to play the piano? I asked impatiently. Soon, she smiled and said nothing more. We returned home in silence. My mood started to worsen. I went to my room and waited to see what would happen next. She thinks I'm still too young, so she's teasing me. I thought bitterly. But then Aunt Ricky peeked into my room. Why are you sitting here bored? Let's go practice the piano. Not understanding anything, I left the room and saw it on my children's table, a shiny miniature instrument, a piano. My eyes widened with delight. So that's what Aunt Ricky bought at the store. The piano was a toy, but it played real music. The charm and beauty of this toy piano were mesmerizing. It looked like a sparkling gem, whose beauty instantly captivated me. The elegant design of the piano and the promise of real music made it my magical treasure. My heart fluttered with excitement. I was thrilled that this piano was mine. It seemed that all my dreams were starting to come true. It was real magic. I carefully reached out to the shiny keys, afraid to break the spell. The surge of joy and wonder stretched my smile from ear to ear. What song do you want to play? Aunt Ricky asked. On the green meadow. I replied, thinking. Great, said Aunt Ricky. First, let's count the fingers on your right hand. How many fingers do you have? 5, I was surprised. Aunt Ricky, I'm not that little to not know that. I know. But today we'll give each finger a number. The thumb will be number 1. Then 2, 3, 4, and 5, the pinky. Got it? Yes. Now watch and listen carefully, then repeat what I do. Start playing with the note C, and press it with the first, thumb. Then D, with the second finger, E, with the third. F, with the fourth. Then play the same fingers in reverse order, E, D, then stretch the fifth finger to G, and finish by pressing C with the first finger. Watch again, C, D, E, F, E, D, G, C, and again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 5, 1. Aunt Ricky played the melody a few more times. Her hands moved gracefully over the keyboard, as if in a smooth dance. Each finger glided over the keys, barely lifting when moving from one note to another. Now you play. Don't rush and think about each note. I was very excited. I placed my hand on the piano, trying to imitate Aunt Ricky, imagining myself on a big stage, and began to play. I played while Aunt Ricky called out each note I pressed. C, D, E, F, E, D. And suddenly, I couldn't reach the right key and pressed the wrong note. F? Aunt Ricky asked. I think you need to press G, and she pressed the G note instead of me. I know, I said, I accidentally pressed the wrong key. Okay, try again. I tried again, but again couldn't reach the right key. Oh! Again! I said in frustration. Well, it's not a big deal. Try again. I started again and tried my best. I pressed the keys one by one very carefully and dreamed of the big stage. The piano sounded so wonderful. I dreamed of applause, smiles, praise, and flowers that I would receive after the concert, and suddenly heard the wrong note again. Darn! I said in frustration. I think this note doesn't like you very much, Aunt Ricky said. That's why it keeps running away from you. Really? I was surprised. Yes. Think about it. You try so hard to reach this note. But the moment you press it, it slips away from your finger, Aunt Ricky assured me. But don't worry. I'll teach you how to trick it. Aunt Ricky leaned towards my ear and whispered conspiratorially, before you need to press this note, pretend that you're not going to press it. Then bring your finger to this note and hold it over the key, but don't press it. And watch closely. As soon as you see that the G note is standing still and not jumping, press it immediately. I nodded. Now play it again. And don't make any mistakes. Aunt Ricky said loudly, winking at me. I nodded knowingly and started playing slowly. C, D, E, F, E, D. I stopped and brought my pinky to the G note. I watched, the key didn't move. I pressed it. And the piano played the right melody. Now press C, Aunt Ricky said. I pressed C, bravo. Aunt Ricky clapped her hands. Mom! Dad! Come here. Our pianist is about to play her first song for you. Mom and Dad came into the room and sat on the couch, waiting for the performance. My heart was pounding, it seemed like the whole world was watching me. Aunt Ricky leaned over and whispered, don't forget about the elusive G note, and after it, be sure to press C. I nodded. And with a sense of great responsibility, I focused and began to play. C, D, E, F, E, D. I stopped and brought the fifth finger to the elusive G note, pressed it, catching the right sound, then, after a moment's thought, finished by pressing C, and again, Aunt Ricky whispered in my ear. I smiled and repeated it all from the beginning. My mom and dad clapped their hands, then came up to me, hugged me tightly, and kissed me. And Aunt Ricky,